everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. We got everybody on here, and man, pre-show is always fun.
Yes.
How's it going, guys?
I tell you, if we start off the way that pre-show went, hey, listen, we'll just get canceled right away.
Pretty much
within the first 30 seconds of this show.
Yeah.
It's going across. It's these are questions you should not ask when you are, doing interviews, and
Yes.
we went through the whole gamut of them.
Yes.
So we're looking to have some great guests coming up in the near future. So stand by. We're going to see how long we keep them.
Pre-show is either our worst material or our best material. There is no in between.
That is very true. That is very true. And of course, you have to word it nicely too, as we welcome in our radio audience.
I tell you, I will have to say though, we've had some new listeners come in and enjoy our show, and I have to appreciate Zach. I'm going to give a shout out to our new listener, Zach, who every morning tells us exactly what national day it is, and today is National Chocolate Covered Raisin Day. And I thought like the first couple times he did it, it's like, really, is it really that day? I don't care if it is or not. I'm going to now, keep bringing it, Zach. You're bringing your A game.
Hey, it is on Coast to Coast, even if it's, and this is nationally televised, so Yeah, no, this is one of Herb's guys, and no, I appreciate the fact that he drops one of these every day.
Drops out.
Thank you. Of course, my mom's in the house. We got Joe, Gwen, Gino. Everybody's here today.
I'd say it's a good day today. It's a good day today.
Watching on TV, nice.
And it's only going to be it's only going to get better, I think.
Yeah,
that's the only way you eat raisins. That's fair. It's fair.
So, anyways, we got to talk about this right off the bat. I know that we mentioned it yesterday, and it's now just about a day old, but all the details came out. $168.6 million. Yeah. It's an awful lot of money.
It is. It again, I knew they were going to sign him, just because they did sign DK once, right? Despite the fact that he has issues.
Right.
So, you move over to a guy that has none of those things and led the league and has been better every single year. You knew he was going to get the bag, and it's one of the positions Seattle actually pays for. So there's only a couple of them. It's going to be a receiver, a DB, whether it's a corner or safety, they will pay those guys, and they will pay a linebacker. And that's about it. The ones they absolutely will not pay are a offensive lineman, a running back, and weirdly, a quarterback. They really don't like to pay quarterbacks top dollar. And so everybody else is sort of in between. They'll kind of pay you, but so those are the three that they absolutely pay. And then the three that they're like, yeah, we don't need you, which I find hilarious, because for a team that likes to run, they don't want to pay a running back, an offensive line, or the guy that hands him the ball. Seems interesting, but historically, it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, so like I said, you did mention DK, and I want to say in his rookie contract, he did everything he was supposed to. His routes weren't maybe as crisp, but he wasn't as diva-ish.
So the diva part of it isn't even the part that was frustrating about his time here. It was the fact that he had after the play penalties, and they got worse every single year of his career,
right? Whether
they were accepted or not. So if you go back and you look at his penalties, he literally every year had more and more and more. So it wasn't like he was maturing as a player, or like learning to get past some of those things. You watched him get worse at it as he continued on. And so that's why I was saying that he should be out the door 2 years before they finally let him go. I was just like, man, like he kills more drives than he saves.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. As now, I don't know anything about JSN other than he catches the ball. You know,
He does do that at
he
a high
does
clip.
that
Very well.
He
Yeah.
does that really well. That being said, does he have some of those diva tendencies? Is it something that, is
He's a receiver.
$42 million a year going to change the way he looks at life? Because that's what happens. It's not the fact that he's great at what he does and then he gets the money. It's the moment that he gets the money, he changes the way that he feels about life in general.
So I don't believe that'll be the case because he
Right.
turned down more per year to not go to San Fran. So I think some of that, I think some of it is he wants to stay here, but he doesn't seem to have, like, again, he's a receiver. So there's going to be some of it. Right.
Right.
But he doesn't seem to have that next level of it where you are, DK Diva or, Antonio Brown, or like, he doesn't seem to have those types of elements to him.
Right.
Do you think that he's going to have moments? Yeah, of course. Right. You just gave a kid that's what, 24, 25, $40 million a year. I have no doubt in my mind that there's going to be moments,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I don't mind this signing, right? Because he doesn't
At
have
all.
all the other off the field or in between plays or any of those types of things going for him. He tends to play pretty clean. He tends to be really respectful with the media and around town. So, I mean, if you're going to pay one, I'm not mad at this one.
Yeah. Well, you're also talking, like you mentioned before, a guy that's gotten better every year, and you're coming off a Super Bowl win, right? And I mean, from the outside, obviously not a Seahawks fan, but seem to embrace having Cup on the team as well, and that kind of little mentorship too, as well. At least publicly, he said so. So it just seems like all the things are in place for him to, for this just to be a great value. And I mean, you're going to have to pay, like you said, certain guys, and you're going to have to pay the wide receivers. So, I mean, I like the signing. I think it's great for them, and obviously great for him.
How soon do you feel that is going to be a major issue from the disparity between the running back and the wide receiver starts to become over apparent? And the reason why I'm asking this question is now you have $42 million a year, and the highest paid running back is somewhere in the neighborhood of 12. That's a $30 million difference. And I'll tell you that the running back touches the ball more than the wide receivers do.
They do.
Right.
They do.
But so many more teams are going to by committee to where you're splitting up a lot of that. Like one great wide receiver is probably getting you more at this point than like two decent running backs. There's a lot of teams. Yeah. Walker, we're talking about Walker, but Walker wasn't even like what the lead back until Charbonnet went out, and they just let him walk to keep Charbonnet and then bring in another guy. So we're not even talking, like, we'll remember his last, but we also don't know if Charbonnet stayed healthy. Would we even be talking about Walker right now?
Well, and of course, everybody's just remembering the fact that, he had a great 3-week run through the playoffs. But I mean, he's been injured every year. He wasn't leading our running back room most of the year. He was technically running back one, but Charbonnet had more yards, had more touches. So, I mean, they were talking about it all year of making Charbonnet running back one anyway. So, he gets hurt and then they elevate him. It's like, yeah, you can't pay the guy because like he was already in discussions of not being your lead guy.
Yeah. You
can't then be like 3 weeks later, well, you had a great 3 weeks. We're going to ignore the last 3.5 years. I mean, you can't do that. But I get where you're going with that. But I mean, that's been true for a while already. right? I mean, receivers have been getting more and more and more, and the running backs, their pay really has fallen off. And it's just where the league is. If the league ever finally cycles back to valuing a running back, you'll see that money go up. But I mean, at this point, it's been enough years. If you're playing football and you want to get a higher paid position, don't go in as a running back. You got a short career and you're not going to make as much.
Yeah. I tell you, those numbers are going in opposite directions, it seems. And you are giving the ball more, because I mean, ultimately, let's think about it. You still got to have 4 other receivers on your team that aren't making $42 million a year. And if you're a defense and you want to limit the Seahawks, you're double teaming this guy, JSN. You're double teaming him and making sure that the ball doesn't even get looked his way.
Right.
And ultimately, after that, now you've got to go to all the other receivers. And if I was defensive coordinators that have Seattle on my schedule, that's what I would do.
So the highest paid running back is Christian McCaffrey, and he's making 19. So it's not quite as far off. Now, your traditional running backs, they're not making tons. Right. Walker just signed for 15 mil, right? But so that market is now between 15 and 19 million. So I mean, it's not.
I think of the best running back of the last 3 years, and that's the 2 of them is Barkley and the King. You know what I mean? And ultimately, both of them are making somewhere in the neighborhood of like 12, 13. I mean, I think Barkley made $15 million by running over 2,000 yards.
Yeah, well, and I mean, that's where you're seeing that number start to pop a little bit, because it was very stagnant for about 4 years. And then Henry goes off, and then the next year Barkley goes off, and all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, running backs, they're sort of important again. And then you had Taylor this year until, Daniel Jones got hurt. So, I mean, I think you're going to see a bump in it. We already kind of have, right, with CMC getting 19 and Walker getting 15. So, I mean, I think that's where your market kind of is right now. Now,
for sure.
Is it elite receiver money? No. But, I mean,
and in theory, you're asking the running back to do a lot more. You want him to hold the ball. You want him to catch the ball. You want him to block. Yeah, you're asking for a lot from these running backs. And, they said in the Eagles case, and in a lot of cases from a lot of teams throughout the league, you're asking them to touch the ball 30 to 40% of the offensive plays.
Yeah, I see. The thing is I think where you run into the issue is because they touch the ball that much and they get hit constantly.
They get banged up. Yep.
Yeah, you don't know that they're actually going to finish their contract. And so I get that a lot of it's incentive based, but there's still a lot that's guaranteed. And if I'm going to pay one or the other, I'm probably paying a receiver, because I at least reasonably believe that they're going to make it through their contract, as opposed to giving a running back 4 years, 15 to 20 million a year for a guy that routinely gets banged up at a position that shortens careers. I mean, I actually get the mentality of not wanting to pay him, because it's like, look, I can just draft the next guy. He's on a rookie deal. It doesn't pay that much. If he gets hurt, it's not that much of an impact on the club. If you look at like Zeke, when he got his big money,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Never the same again. They destroyed their cap to keep that guy, and then as soon as he put pen to pad, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about great early years and then dropped off the cliff. Yeah. And that's gonna always be for every like top 4 or 5 running backs, you've got like the rest of the league where you're thinking, we're just gonna get by with that, and you're talking about with your wide receiver. If I pay my wide receiver 1 great money and I get a decent wide receiver 2 and 3, like the wide receiver 1's going to make them better. JSN's going to make the next 2 guys better because those double teams will clear up other stuff for him. If I go out and get a premium running back and anything happens to him or he's banged up, my money's just tied up and I'm getting nothing else, and you're not making like the second running back any better. So I just think most teams are just going to say, I'm going to split my money up. Like you said, draft the next guy and just keep it going. So I get what you're saying, but that sounds more like the running back union needs to get together and try. Well,
that's exactly where this is headed. That's where I was headed with this.
If the rookie contract for a running back was 3 years instead of 4, or maybe even 2, give them an earlier bite at the apple. I could at least that at least makes some sense, right? Because you're conceding the fact that your average running back barely makes it out of their rookie year. Right. So, I mean, a rookie contract is 4, maybe 5 years if they happen to go in the first round. Right. And the average career in the NFL is like 3.5 years.
Under 4 years.
So, I mean, if you wanted to give those guys a real shot at making the money that they honestly deserve comparatively, right? Because of how involved they are and how much they help an offense go, you need to have them be able to get off that rookie deal sooner, because it's outside of Adrian Peterson. You don't generally have somebody playing running back for 15 years. Like it just doesn't generally happen.
Yeah. Like the Ravens are waiting every year, it feels like, for Derrick Henry to just totally fall apart. And then even then, as good as he is, they seem to limit his touches. Every team just hates to be. I mean, like look at Saquon Barkley's year after the 2000, and that's what every team is worried about when they pay their running back. What's going to happen the next year? Did all those touches we give him, is that going to run him down? Is he going to be all right? Like that's what they run. But you never think, if I give my wide receiver 100 catches this year, next year we're going to throw it to him less. We're like, no, feed him more. Let's just keep going. So their return on investment is just a lot better for the wide receiver. Well,
and you're not allowed to hit receivers anymore. So I mean, the odds of them going down is way less. Whereas you're still allowed to tee off on a running back, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you're a runner, they're like, oh yeah, go clean him up. But when you're a receiver, like half the time you're defenseless and you can't hit him in the air and you can't come clean him up from a safety position. And I mean, the receiver is so protected, and the only position on the field that isn't anymore is the running back. Like he's the only guy that you can go rip his head off, and that's fine.
Right. I also even think it's not just the big hits for the running back. It's that 2-yard run where you run into the line and 2 linemen fall on top of you. Those are the ones that wear you down. I'm like, okay, that big hit that you see every once in a while, that's fine. But like when you're talking about those 20 touches and 10 of them didn't get you anything, you still got hit on every one of those. So you're running down your running backs way
almost
faster.
700 pounds of dude falling on you that's tough. Okay.
Yeah. That's what wears you down. So I get it. We're not saying that the running backs aren't invaluable, but just to get your money back out of it, people are always going to go wide receiver, especially with the more rules opening the game up every year, it feels like.
No, and I mean, when you look at it from that aspect, you're just like, yeah, I mean, I get it. But when you think of it just from the importance of what a running back does to your team, absolutely they should make more.
Oh, for sure. But
the way that rookie contracts work, you never have to. And that's what you see out of Seattle. Seattle is the prime, the poster child for doing exactly this. They're like, yeah, we're not going to pay this position at all. We're just going to keep drafting the next dude, which, I mean, here also the guys get hurt all the time, right? So, I mean, we end up with our lead guy on IR every year since 2014. So do you want to pay that guy? Absolutely not. Half the time you draft a guy and he can't stay healthy. Rashad Penny is a prime example of that. Like, dude just couldn't even get on the field. Tons of athletic upside, but, just got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's tough to justify paying a position that can't stay on the field.
All right.
So, we did re-sign one of our other receivers, so that's pretty cool. Jake Bobo is going to be returning. They gave him the opportunity to go out and see what the market was, but they had the first right of refusal to match, and the Jags were interested in him, and Seattle said absolutely not. and brought him back. So I was going to jump on with my buddy Travis and talk about if Jake Bobo was going, but Seattle wasted absolutely no time re-signing him. So didn't even get to do the segment because we were talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just record a thing for you. And then like an hour later, Jake Bobo was re-signed. I was like, well, that was the shortest segment ever because I hadn't even recorded it yet. So, but yeah, so he came back and, speaking of disparity, his was, I think it was like a 2-year, $5 million. So,
oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, on the plus side, this is probably the better part of it is, so I've been a guest coach at these different pro camps, right? And the first year I did with Tyler Lockett, and then he got released. And then this last year I did Jake Bobo, and I was like, oh no, am I the guy that's letting these receivers out of town? Like, this is a problem. And so I was really happy to see him get re-signed.
Nice. You didn't want to be that guy. Is that what you're saying?
Right?
Or all of a sudden we're getting segments on guys you want to get rid of all of a sudden, right? Like,
I'm doing the Anthony Bradford camp. No, I don't want him out of town, but I do want him to have some help.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no way that they get to have him. That is for sure. So, and then we also re-signed our center. So we did, do some work yesterday, re-signing some people.
Got you. Yay! The Seahawks will be back.
I mean,
not exactly excited about that.
I look forward to it since the Rams and the Niners both got better. And we're just like, hey, can we just keep some of our guys?
Yeah, that division's still going to be.
Well, listen, here's what I believe. Good teams do not do a lot of stuff on the day one of free agency.
Oh, they don't need to. Yeah, I mean, if you're good, then you're trying to keep that nucleus there, and then you add to it.
Well, not only that, the first couple days of free agency, people get overpaid.
For sure.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I like that they're taking care of their roster first, as opposed to, because sometimes you do see some wholesale changes, especially if there's a lot of guys that are expiring contracts. And that was one of the things that was great for Seattle is a lot of these guys were, first or second year with the team. So they didn't have a crazy amount of contracts that they had to deal with. And then even with JSNs, it's a big number, but they're gonna use the 5th-year option. So I mean, that contract doesn't even start until after the 27th season. So then all of a sudden that cap hit isn't as crazy either. But it also means that this coming season, they're not up against it cap wise, right? So they can try and repeat.
Right. I remember we said this about the 49ers, though. Everybody got hurt, and it was a terrible season, though. So I hope that we're not in the same boat for your Seahawks.
I mean, the thing that was wild with them is everybody got hurt, and they still had a great season.
I'm talking about the year before, because remember we said right before they started getting rid of everybody, and we were thinking on the same show, like, this is going to be that year, and they better go for it before everyone starts to get paid. And it was the year after they dismantled, and then everyone got hurt, that they had a great year. So I don't know. Sometimes.
Well, and it was funny prior to that, John Lynch even came out and was like, yeah, at some point you can't continue to kick it down the road. You gotta let some guys go and use the cap and whatever. And then it ended up being one of their better seasons. You're like, man, I'm tired of seeing this in my division.
Yeah.
They can't close that way, but they're good.
Yeah.
But not only that, though, I mean, and I guess that goes back to how you treat your players and how they are in how they're feeling in the locker rooms and stuff like that. Like I said, it's easier for the next man up to be able to do his job when everybody's behind him. You
Yes.
know, like I said, this is a team that drinks together, wins together, and that is really a big deal. It's a much bigger deal than people lead on to believe, and it helps win championships. It's not the only thing that wins the championship,
Sure.
but it definitely helps.
I mean, it gets you there. And I mean, and that is one thing that you can say with 3 of the 4 teams out of the West is they are very cohesive units, whether it's the Rams, the Niners, Seahawks. They do have a tendency to get bad apples out of the room, right?
Yes.
They don't double down on guys. They're just like, hey, you know what? Turns out you're kind of a jerk. Elite talent. That's awesome. Hopefully we get something for you. Right.
Yeah. Brandon Ayuk comes to mind.
You know, it's exactly who I was talking about. Yeah. But no, I mean, but all 3 of those teams do it. Now there's a 4th team that's, you know, bumbling around the bottom of the league in our division that I don't foresee being any better this year. But yeah, I mean, the top 3 teams, I mean, 2 of them got better. One of them's retaining most of their pieces. And one of the hallmarks of what they do is get bad apples out of the room. All 3 of those teams do.
Yeah. For sure.
Hire slow, fire fast.
That's right.
That's learned that a long time ago from a very good businessman who was, you know, not the nicest of people, but
He was
good at business. He was good at business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it's like, yes, you have to get the cancers out as quickly as possible. But that being said, you can't just excuse them from the room and hope that it's going to be okay, because ultimately that was the difference between Ayuk. Now, what's even going to happen to him this year? Like, I haven't heard much about it. Where's he at?
He's still there, but I mean, even Lynch came out and said, yeah, he's not playing for us again. I mean, it's pretty much the divorce is coming.
Yeah, it's weird because there hasn't been much
talk about what it is.
Yeah, like I haven't seen him officially released, right? But it's not like there's any real interest around the league for him either.
Right.
You know, the problem is when you look at his situation, if you're a GM for another team, you're like, okay, dude has talent. He signs this huge deal. He gets hurt, but then is so just dissociated with the team that he won't even show up to get his guaranteed money. If you're a GM, you're looking at that like, how do I get him incentivized to when things are tough on our team, right? Because I mean, if 30 to 40 million doesn't do it, I really don't know what will, you know? So I think he's going to be a cautionary tale where people are like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm good. I mean, he has some of that Antonio Brown-ish, you know, view to him. Now, obviously he didn't like put up deuces and run through the end zone or anything, but at the same time, you see some similar qualities there. And if you're a GM, you're like, look, this guy just signed a huge contract and wasn't incentivized enough to make it to meetings.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I need that in the room. And so I don't know that there's really a big market for him.
Yeah. Well, throw in also the way the holdout went in the first place before he got his contract, and like all the, you know, innuendos and seemingly threats to go to, you know, other team or whatever. What's up, Chad? So it started off bad. He came in beginning of his contract. He was dropping balls left and right.
Yep. Then
he got hurt. You know, it was just none of that whole situation. And then they voided the contract guarantee. And most of the times when you see something like, I mean, not that you ever see stuff like that, but there's either a fight back or a pushback or something. They voided all that stuff, and there was like not a peep out of him. It was just like,
yeah, he's just like, cool.
Yeah.
Well, and they even gave him, you know, options. They're like, look, we don't want to do this. Like, just show up to meetings and participate.
Right.
And he's just like, nah, I'm good. I can't imagine leaving that kind of money on the table.
Right.
Right. Like if I was told, and I don't even have to go into the millions. If I was told, hey, we will give you $4,000 if you just show up to these meetings, I'm like, okay,
Yes.
Like, yeah, I
Go
can
to a
do
meeting
that.
with no chance that you'll have to use this material in the next game or whatever because you're hurt. So all you have to do is show up and pretend to be interested.
Yeah, and you don't even have to do a good job of it. You could be Stephen A at the finals playing solitaire on your phone. Like,
I mean, that would be me. I'd pick out one good question I'd ask at some point, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done. Rest of the time, that's it.
oh, you lead off with it. That way you can just check out.
Yeah, they're saying, as I'm reading this one article, they're saying that teams aren't even offering a 7th-round pick.
Yeah,
because
I wouldn't either.
There's no need to. And it's like and one GM's like, hey, listen, we need a wide receiver, and I'm not interested in trading for him, because ultimately, why give them anything? Just wait for them to drop him. Because after June 1st or right before June 1st, it could be either one of those times, depending on what works better for them. My expectation is it'll be after June 1st because then they can kick down the line. But it's very interesting that he's still out there, and I can't wait for him to just show up to camp because he wants to get money.
I don't know if he does. That's what's wild. Like, if you couldn't get him to show up to a meeting, that all he had to do is show up and he gets his guaranteed money. I mean, you're talking about $20+ million that they're just like,
27 million in guarantees is what they voided. So
here's a bag of cash for showing up. Do you honestly think he's going to show up and try and do anything productive? No, I mean, I don't.
Well, no, I don't think he's going to do anything productive, but I think he has to show up because it forces their hand then.
No, I think you're right. I think it'll be after the June 1. They can split his cap over a couple of years, and they just dump him. Because, I mean, you also don't want him showing up, right?
That's the thing. That's why if I was him, I'd be like, guess what? You know what? This is taking too long. I guess I got to go back.
Turns out I like football again. I don't know. Now, I don't know. Like, his situation is so bizarre because I just can't relate to it in any way. No. Like, if somebody's like, hey, I have $27 million for him, like, yeah, you do. Like, let's go.
And the lack of talk from his camp, too, is weird. Like, usually somebody puts out something at this point about, either your situation or I don't know, something. It just seems like he's just okay, whatever, at this point. Because he had a lot to say or a lot to post and a lot of things that went out when he was doing his holdout. But now it just feels like I don't even remember the last time we heard of him, except for when the 49ers say something. And then the fact that they kind of plug and played without him, there's way less incentive for them to worry about this situation.
Yeah, him being gone did not affect that team in any way.
No.
I mean, so, yeah, I don't know. Again, I just can't relate to leaving that kind of money on the table. I mean, I kept showing up to a job that was zero fun because it was $60 an hour. So it's like, I'm going to keep showing up. Was it fun? No. Was it stressful? Absolutely. Did I spend a ton of time in the truck? Yep. Did I keep showing up every day? Sure did. So, yeah. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me, but
at all.
Especially with that many zeros. Like, I don't know. I got nothing there.
I agree.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how it all finds out. So
he could find himself out of the league is really what it could be. Like that might be the way he handled himself with the Niners may be toxic enough that the other GMs are just like, yeah, I think I don't need that in my building. Even if you got him for nothing, league minimum, you'd be looking at it like, yeah, but if you didn't show up for 27 guaranteed, I can't imagine you're going to be a model citizen for the 1.2 that we're going to give you as a league minimum.
Right. I'm not sure how you keep a guy like that happy. If San Francisco can't keep you happy out there, it's like, what's the next guy doing for you, for real?
Well, hey, listen, And you could bet on whether he's going to come back or not.
You sure can. Right here alongside us. Did not have it queued up, but here it is. Use the QR code on the screen, up to 125%. And of course, a 10% bet guarantee. I don't think anybody's going to have to do that if you are betting the under that or the over that he doesn't come back, because I don't really see a scenario where he does.
Yeah.
Especially when the GM is like, yeah, no, this ran its course.
For sure.
So, but it's still out there though. They're still figuring it out. So we'll see if anything at all comes from it at all.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's play it this way. Say somehow he does make it on a team. It has to be like the Jets or the Browns, right? Like that would take on this kind of chaos.
No, I disagree with that. I think that it would possibly be a team like
Steelers.
I thought the other team, Ravens.
Okay. All right.
Something like that where so it comes across to me like that he is, and how do I put this in the correct way?
Uh-oh.
A little thuggish.
Okay.
And I don't like I said, I don't know him personally. I don't want to come across like that. But that's what it appears.
I don't want
that
to, but I will.
Yes. You thought about it, and that was the best way to put it. What were the other choices?
Well, no, but think about that. Think about the mindset that's got to go into leaving $27 million on the table.
Sure.
That's you see all the things on Instagram. That's thug life.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's thug life. So I have to imagine that you need a personality or personalities that are similar, that or at least know how to handle and deal with that.
Oh, I thought you meant within him, because maybe he does have multiple personalities.
No, I'm thinking that I'm not saying that any of those other guys are thuggish, but like the guys on the Ravens, I feel would be better equipped to deal with that mindset a little bit.
I mean, if you're going that route, then the Patriots would be in that window also.
So the Patriots are in the window.
Yeah, because they've definitely had their share of those kind of guys that you're referring to. So I could see something like that. And Gino, there's no way. Like, if you can't keep him happy with the money in the NFL, there's no way he's playing arena or the UFL.
Yeah, there's no.
Like,
he's either playing or he's not playing is kind of what this is.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So, but I kind of feel like it. I mean, it could be Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh would also do well to have him, but I think that it's, Baltimore kind of puts it on that list. You could say the Patriots, and the Patriots are on that list. I know that, in that article I was just reading, that the Patriots have considered and thought about it. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'd be steering clear of that. Again, I thought we needed to move off of DK, and he's nowhere near where Ayuk is.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't like guys that bring chaos to a team. Right? Like, if the conversation isn't about football, it's hurting the most important part of your team, which is the football part. So that's like, I never like having teams that have really loud off seasons, right? When there's lots of drama around a team in an off season, it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever I thought they were going to do this year, I'm going to just go ahead and subtract at least 2 games from their season.
Right.
Because
drama is drama.
It is. And it distracts from the actual product. So, You know, when you're going out there and you're playing against another team that also is a bunch of, you know, really great players, and they get a focus on football and you're focused on whatever craziness was leading up to it, I'm going to go with the team that didn't have all the distractions is probably going to win that game.
Are you describing every Cowboys season since forever, or was that just accidental?
I mean, happy accident, you know.
Yeah, but you could also explain that. I mean, listen, I mean, Philadelphia knows about that pretty well this past season.
For sure. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's and you could say that the result happened just as you explained it.
Well, the season for Philly that really comes to mind is that one where you guys were like 11-1 or whatever, and then completely fell apart. Yes. Was that 3 years ago? Like that was, you know, all of a sudden you have, you know, the meeting that was off somewhere with some of the players and stuff, and you're just like, okay, like this isn't good. You're really far into the season to have a team building adventure. Like if you haven't figured it out by like week 12, you're probably not gonna. Right. And that team imploded.
Yes. Yeah, it was 11-1. And then we played the 49ers of all things, you know, but it was also the third game in that game itself. When I look back at that, that was the culmination of all the bad showing up in one spot.
Sure.
And you have 3 games in 13 days, a very rested 49ers team who feels like that they can win the NFC Championship game in a regular season game.
Yeah.
You being exhausted. I mean, I remember there was one play that really signified it all. It was a legal hit and it was a clean hit and everything, but it was the 49ers guy. I mean, it was the running back caught the ball and he was just dumb, and he got blown up by, you know, one of the 49ers defenders. And that's what happens when somebody's moving at 100 miles an hour and you're moving at 40.
Yeah.
It was like, boom, you're done. And that was the entire game. They came out and they wanted retribution from the previous year, and we didn't have, like, we had just beaten Buffalo in the last second, come from behind, doing whatever, and then to give that type of clunker. But that clunker sat with us for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And that was the first loss in all of the losses. I think we beat the Giants on Christmas, and that was it. You know, and we lost every other game since then. And I remember because the Buccaneers still use the meme of me sitting in the front row watching that playoff going,
season is over. It's got the Eeyore voice, not that it matters anyway. Yeah, no, I mean, and I appreciated that year. I mean, you made Drew Lock look like Joe Montana out there. Like it was the implosion of that team was wild. And so when you think about the personalities that have to come together to make that happen, that's why you don't bring an Ayuk into your building. Because you don't need that kind of weirdness pulling away from what you're trying to do as a group.
Yeah. But somebody's going to. I just feel like I'm going to go with where's the link up there? I'm saying somebody's going to.
You know, the thing is the GMs do talk, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if he does, you know, because these guys they're going to call and be like, hey, like bottom line, what's the deal? But if you have people not willing to give up a 7, which most 7th round picks don't end up on a roster, right?
Right.
So if you have guys that are like, yeah, I'm not even going to take a flyer on a 7th for this guy. And some of it's going to be because they also don't want to pay him, right? Because I mean, he does have an active contract that if you trade for him, you have to do something with. You wait for him to get dropped, then you can sign him for whatever. So if he does end up on a team, it'll be after he gets out and out cut because the intention is already clear. So you don't have to trade for him. why give up anything when you have a team that's ultimately going to dump the guy anyway?
Right. And he did sign a major contract. That's the thing. So, and that makes me wonder if the 49ers will even drop him, because ultimately they could just fine him and make sure that they don't have to pay any of that money, rather than drop him, have to pay that money while somebody else pays.
Well, they got rid of all the guarantees anyway, so they don't have to pay him anything. Like anything he has moving forward, he has to actually show up and participate for, because of his unwillingness to do anything and the fact that they were able to avoid the guaranteed money. Now everything is, you have to show up and do stuff. Nothing's guaranteed. So, I mean, it hurts their cap. The cap is what it is, but they wouldn't have to pay any physical money. The difference between cutting him though, is you get some relief on the cap. Right. And I think that's why they ultimately do. There's no reason to keep him on a roster, tying up a roster spot that you're not going to use him. And I don't know why you would tie it up, right? You're going to ultimately hurt more on the cap, and then you tie up a roster space, which is already limited. Doesn't make a lot of sense to keep him, at least in my mind.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they've got a few more days to figure that out before June 1st.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that's funny is you don't even have to wait till then. Like you can let the guy go and just give him a June 1st designation. That happens all the time.
Pretend like this happened after June 1st is what they do.
This is me firing you in the future. Also, don't show up.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I keep hearing right now about AJ Brown, that he's going to get traded. He's going to get traded after June 1st. And I still don't believe it. You know, I'm not big on the rumor mill, but that's the thought process that's coming along from, New England's camp, is that, hey, AJ Brown is going to be a Patriot and we are just waiting till after June 1st, and that the first round picks that are going to come for him are going to be coming in the future and not this draft.
Yeah, which would be fine, right? I mean, you don't have to wait to do that though, because you can go up to 3 years. You can go up to 3 years in the future on drafts.
Actually, and they're trying to figure it out if they can do 5.
Yeah, that's because the Browns want to. That's because the Browns want to be able to ruin their future forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, as it sits today, you can go up to 3 years in the future. So it's not like you'd have to wait. Plus, you're already in the next league year. So it's not like you got to wait for that designation either. The league year changed on the 11th. So, so you already.
But again, it doesn't help them in the cap if they do it before the 1st.
No, but you can still do it with the future designation. You don't have to wait for the day.
Right. Well, the problem is that he can't go to any pre-camps. So that's why they don't choose to do it that way. Plus, it also allows anybody else, like you can't go ahead and announce it, because the moment you announce it, then teams who may want to try to make a move on draft day can't.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so I mean, you wait for draft day, no question.
But so I'm going to pivot. There was a hockey game last night that actually was historic for funny reasons.
All right.
The New York Rangers, for the entire game in Madison Square Garden, had 9 shots on goal.
Wow.
Not since 1955 has the team had that few shots on goal.
That is crazy when you think of most teams will get that done in a period.
Right.
Well, as funny as you say that, the shots on goal by the other team was Ottawa had 13 in the first, 13 in the second, 7 in the third.
Mm-hmm.
By the beginning of the third period, the Rangers had 4 shots on goal. They had 5 in the third period, so they doubled their output there.
So that makes me think that in the third there was a power play.
They had 3 power plays.
There you go.
Interestingly enough, I didn't check to see when those power plays were called, but let's see.
Not only did they have a power play, but they pulled the goalie
to get that one.
Yeah, because it was only 2-1.
Yeah,
really. That's interesting.
That make well, in soccer they call it parking the bus. It just makes it sound like a game where they were trying not to lose big versus trying to win it.
Well,
sadly, I watch a lot of those games here in Seattle. I watch us play in our zone a lot.
Yeah, that's what this kind of game makes you think of.
Yeah.
So, and the goalie, I mean, it's funny because, I mean, the one goalie only had to stop 9 shots. The goalie gets bored. So my thought is that in the beginning of the third period, it's like he's not seeing anything, and he let one slip past him. You know what I mean? Like it's oops, I forgot that I'm playing a game here.
He's getting a drink of water. He hears the horn. Like, oh.
And what's even funnier is that the goalie for the Rangers was standing on his head to be able to stop 31 shots.
No question.
It's like he wound up getting the 3rd star of the game in that game. But 9 shots on goal. That tells me that team is tanking.
Yeah.
They are trying everything they can to lose games so that they can get better chances in winning the lottery to try to get the kid from Penn State.
I mean, when you're way out of it,
right?
Why not?
Is it really better? Yeah.
That being said, they could just be every bit that bad too. Because I mean, we've had some games here in Seattle where we just could not get off our side of the floor. Right. Like for whatever reason, we couldn't get anywhere away from our goal. We hung out in our zone the whole time. And, you end up with a power play. So you finally get some shots on goal. But I mean, we've had some periods where, you go into that next period with, 3 or 4 shots on goal total. And it's just like, ooh, this is not an effective way to win games. And
right. But so even accidentally, even in those games that you're talking about, sometimes you accidentally get shots on goal. You send it down the ice, you just throw it down the ice, and it happens to go on goal. It just happens to be considered a shot on goal. Yep. It's accidental, but it's a shot on goal, and it's really meant to be an icing, and you wound up getting a shot.
Yeah, you couldn't even do the icing right.
Exactly. So there's definitely things like that. The fact that they got 9 just was like, it made me wonder. It's like, how many blocked shots were there? Like, is that what that was? They blocked 100 shots in this game, but
I'm guessing not, right? And only because some of them will slip through. Like, there's no way you're blocking that many as a defender, right? If you're on the positive side of the ice, there's no way you end up with that few, right?
Well, no, I get it.
Like, there's going to be some passes that get listed as a shot on goal because it happens to ricochet and go in towards the goalie. So I mean, like, it's you had to not be on the positive side of the ice at all.
Right.
Well,
but at this point in their season it's a thin line between tanking and just being bad. And it's in their best interest, especially in a game where you only lose 2-1. Why, there is no reason to be trying at this point. So I think for the long-term health of your organization, that game was probably perfect. Hey, looks competitive, right? If you look at the score, 2-1, it's great. We weren't tanking. We just weren't really good that night. Lost another game. Oh, well. So,
yeah, I mean, on a stat sheet, it looks good. If you were in the building, you were probably not super stoked. Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah, but that's how it's done these days.
True.
Yeah, I hear you. So, but yeah, that was the only hockey game that was out there. So if you were a big hockey fan, I'm sure that was the snooze fest of the century.
For sure. Yeah. And a good thing for Seattle is they end up with 2 days off So they end up playing tonight. But after dropping 3 in a row, falling out of that final wild card spot, they're only 2 points out because everybody else has been losing games at a pretty solid clip in the division as well.
You want to know why? Because the East has been out west. That's exactly what's been going on. It's been so bad for the West in comparison to the East. You know, we'll see if Colorado has enough to be able to go up against whoever comes out of the East, because it looks like it's either going to be Colorado or Dallas. That's going to be the conference championship game. And then they've played so many bad teams and won so many games in comparison. It'll be interesting to see whoever comes out of the East, if they are so much better than them because of the talent that they had to play against.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado is a great team, so I don't foresee them being having an issue. Dallas also a solid team. Anybody else from the West that's coming out is getting smoked.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't foresee any of that being that fun to watch, really. Like, I think those series will be done in a hurry.
Well, I agree. I don't think that anybody is going to be able to compete against those two, but the East is going to be interesting to watch, to say the least.
Well, I mean, the West will still be interesting to watch because it's going to be bad teams against bad teams.
Right.
Obviously, Dallas and Colorado are going to roll through whoever they're going up against, but the other games are going to be interesting until it ultimately comes down to those two, and then that will be a fun series to watch.
Right. Unless Colorado gets President Cup-itis, which happens a lot.
Entirely possible. It is entirely possible. That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. If you're listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, we do have some smooth jazz headed your way coming up next. Otherwise, if you're listening on every other platform, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. Otherwise, we will see y'all tomorrow, where we got to talk a little bit about NASCAR. Tyler Reddick winning a 4th out of the first 6 races of the season. So pretty impressive there, but we'll save that for tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.